Is this live? Is it live? Are you there? Hello? Hello? I'm waiting for Jason from Reno Satanic. Some of you may know him as Damien. I know no one's there now, but we think of these things as live, but they're recorded as well. I'm waiting for Damien. Let's get this camera set up so yeah, there we go. Hello. And we're gonna go live and talk about some stuff. So let's see if I can get. There we go. We'll see if that works. Invited. I don't know how. It says I've invited you, Jason. It says you're watching. Friend Jason Mays, Damien Mays. That you're watching. I've invited you. I don't know what to do after that. Let me see. Host. That's me. Co-host with creators. Let's co-host. Offline, it says. You're offline. It says you're offline, dude. What's going on? Are you there? Okay, there you are. Guest. Accept.
Hello. Yeah.
You there?
Camera didn't want to work on tablet, so it's going off phone now. Okay.
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Save. There you go.
All right. We're back in Reno with Damien. The look at that flame going on behind your ear. My face is really big. I can't see you big.
You could go to your settings and you could change the box size.
My fucking settings I gotta go to?
Yeah. You go down. It should be one of the icons at the bottom of the screen here.
Poll and gift, vote, draw and guess, light, AI wallpaper, flip camera, mirror your video, mute microphone, pause live, settings. Rankings, comment, moderator, muted accounts, blocked accounts. No. So that's fucking stupid. I expand. There we go. Okay, I'm in the small. Okay, there we go. Can other people see it like this? Okay,
yes.
What I can see, other people can see, correct?
Correct. I would be the bigger box. You are the smaller box. There's other ways of modifying it to where we're both the same size as well.
I see. Oh, I see. Okay, so I can play around with this a bit and go back and forth. Okay, great. I see it's a, okay. Anyway, excuse anyone listen. There's one other person here. You know, I'm offended. I was on the internet originally and I would get like 100,000 people. So it's like, I get nothing now. One person, I'm angry. I don't know if I even have respect for the one person that would show up. Here.
They got to roll in.
I'm just letting you know, the one person there, I don't know if I even respect you. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe you're the greatest person. The occult is right here. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry about that.
Love it.
So we were talking about the Zena Schreck LaVey. We might as well say Zena LaVey at this moment, because it was all about Anton. But we were talking about the Zena Schreck LaVey, Jordan Peterson interview.
Yeah.
Through text and stuff like that. And I thought it might be interesting to just do something like this real quick, because we're both. Oh man, I get all this drama. This is the most satanic drama right there. And it's a LaVey. Boom. Okay, let me. Kids, just they're snoozy. They're snooze for an hour. There we go. Anyway, the Zena LaVey video. I'll just start with thinking, I'll just give a brief thing. Like, I thought it was really great. I know it was historic. Why did I think it was great? I thought it was great. I thought it was great because it was long, and I like long form conversations. I think I've only seen Jordan Peterson in clips, but I've liked all the clips I've seen. I mean, they're okay. He's a thought provoking person. But I like that he let her talk. He let her speak a lot. It was a great conversation, and it's really smart. And it got emotional. She was triggered. She had PTSD, and then they spoke about PTSD. And these are things I'm happy to see being spoke about. And again, I'm the first person to speak about those things in the satanic community and speak about how publicly how hard the LaVeys have had it. So I understand why Zeena is doing this because of what I've done. So I understand I've influenced that. I'm pushing that forward by pushing Carla forward. She needed to come out, and so I know this is cool, and I like pushing this along, and I like taking my credit because you bitches. There's two people here. I don't know. Maybe they'll give me credit, but most won't. And I loved it also because I think Zeena's really fucking smart. She's super fucking smart. And whether I agree with the person or not, I like them when they're smart, when they're really thinking it out. And Zeena is smart, and she's the reason I know about the Church of Satan. So there was one part in there when they talk about, she talks about her dad going, I'll give you 25% of all new sales, and he gives her only 3 and never anything else. If they mention your name. And I was like, she's a LaVey. She has to know that was the trick right there. If they mention your name, no one's going to mention the name. You just got to go, no, I'll just like the haggle there is like, I'll just take 10% of everything because there's no way people are going to say my name. Anyway, it was great. And anyway, and it was also historic. It was historic. And I don't know what the party line is with the Satanic Temple or Church of Satan or any other Satanists, what they think about this video. But I happen to know it's historic. Zeena doesn't speak out. She has never spoke about this shit.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked about it too. The last interview I saw with Zeena was the Bob Larson one.
Okay, well, I'm wrapping up what I'm saying real quick, but I'm done, right? I made it. You're interrupting me because I made my point, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love that. That's a great. Now go on. Tell me what you think. Boom.
So basically, like I said, it's.
And I'm going to interrupt. It's too bad. I'm on my meds. Good. I had a coffee. I'm old. This is what happens. I'm glad Jason's working with me and interrupting me and saying, "Hey, Shane, it's enough with the old man talk. All my friends have left. You're interrupted. Your uncle Shane, you're embarrassing me. Thank you, Jason, for being so kind. Now go on. I won't interrupt again. I swear.
Oh, are you now?
I swear I won't.
Okay.
Are you going to get going?
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, it was
that flames in the.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get to see things. Oh, I did interrupt again. I'm sorry. I lied.
That's why I love working with you. I love it. Oh, I love it. What? Okay. So, yeah.
You're facing the camera.
Is that better?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, just got a nice haircut. Yeah, with the interview with Zeena and Jordan Peterson, that's something she never does. To have public interviews, especially talking about her father, I think literally, like she said, the last one I saw was the Bob Larson one. And then she said in the interview with Peterson that she did another one a few years later than that one. And so, yeah, for her to come out almost 30, 40 years later and talk about this is something historic and what a lot of people don't talk about in public. So it's definitely something worthy to go see and witness and be able to hear the words coming from one of the key people who were there for most of it.
I think one thing it showed to me as an insider, as a friend of like LaVey, the LaVeys and stuff like that, is and knowing them all. I know no Zeena, I should say. I've only met her briefly, so there's nothing there. We've exchanged emails, very like it was like with all of these people. Nicholas, who was the guy who started Temple of Set?
Michael Aquino?
Yeah, Michael Aquino. I've had exchanges with all of them, okay? With like one or two sentences or one or two emails, but nothing of substance. But we've all had contact. It's a small group. With an inside perspective is that it shows that Satanism, there's a power to it. There's a reason Zeena wants to control the narrative or have her say. Not control, maybe she doesn't want to control it, but she wants to make sure she has her truth put out there. And it's because she hears about this from people because of the Satanic Temple uptick. She speaks about it just like LaVey's stuff went downhill and it had an uptick. Well, now because of the Satanic Temple, the Church of Satan and the LaVey name has an uptick, and Hollywood uptick, and so, that's why I'm going out west is because there's interest in Hollywood for this stuff, and so that to make it as short as old man Shane can is that shows to me that there's something there. There's gold. There's something that she's like, hey, here, right here. I'm going to put my flag right here on this piece of land because the land is grown and it's really big. And I'm going to put my flag down here, just like I do, just like everyone else is trying to put their flag down, and I can't wait to see how I think she'll get a book deal out of this.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, and I think that book will be really fucking crazy cool. And it'll touch on everything from Stanton and his death to, I guarantee it'll talk about me. Well, maybe I shouldn't guarantee it because people like to cut me out, but things I've had dealings with directly. So it's like I know things that will be written about that I've witnessed personally firsthand. What are you talking about, Caleb? Oh, Caleb. Oh, thanks, Caleb, for asking. We're talking about the Zena LaVey. Is there a way to post it on there, what we're talking about? We're talking about the Zena LaVey, Jordan Peterson.
I could put it on the TV behind me.
No, why don't you put it on the text? If you could put it in the text, chat. Can you chat with this person? Because it's hard for me.
I can do the chat.
I'm the broadcaster here.
Yeah. So, you want me to be in the smaller box then?
Well, yeah, I guess when I'm talking, yes, I do. Thank you for reminding me to change it. Yeah, while I'm talking, we'll switch things out.
All right, that way I can work with the chat too.
Yeah, and then when you're talking, I'll switch it out. Just remind me to switch it out when I'm not making my camera moves.
All right, sounds good.
Now you interrupt me. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Fuck. God damn it. Oh, wait, we can't see all this on TikTok. We got to watch everything we say. And this is a fucking... This fucking thing is the future of this is the 1984 shit. This is crazy. Anyway, we're talking about Zeena LaVey, Zeena Schreck, Zena LaVey Schreck, Zeena Schreck LaVey, and Jordan Peterson and the interview he did and how huge that is. That's probably... And Zeena has done it again. She's toppled everything. That is one of the biggest interviews. That is an interview of substance. And I know Jordan Peterson and his crew, this is something I know. I know Jordan Peterson and his crew, someone there is a Satanist. He spoke about reading the Satanic Bible. They are keen off of my information where I've said I'm the only person in the world to have every interview with the LaVeys. The only one that's hard to get is Zeena. And they understood that they had that knowledge to go, Zena's they could do them with Peter, and it would sound smart. It would be great, or Blanche, or even Doug, or me, or any of the other Boyd. But this was perfect because she's a Buddhist now. It was perfect. And so many Satanists in the old days, pre-internet, would go to Buddhism. They'd grow up and go into Buddhism. So that was the way it went. Mm-hmm. And so. Yeah, she's of a major influence So she's going to influence that what she says there is going to impact things bigger than you can, bigger than I can, bigger than us combined, bigger than. I think her influence is going to be the most immense. I wish I could say it was me. I think her influence will be larger than a satanic temple. If she, and she will. You could just see how she's making her move. She's like, now's the time. Boom, Jordan Peterson, one interview, one time, the biggest. I can't think of anything that's as big as Jordan Peterson that anyone's done. You could say Comedy Central or whatever, Cartoon Network for the Satanic Temple or some of the Fox News stuff. But Jordan Peterson's really big.
Yeah.
Like he's culturally big. It's not just a Fox News thing talking about you tonight about what you did today is a flash in the pan. Jordan Peterson is a part of history. What he's doing is, it's a big deal. It's a big, right? He's big, right? Right? Here you go. Your turn.
Yeah, I would say Jordan Peterson is kind of a really big deal, especially in the face of podcasting right now. He's done so much over his career. Do I agree with a lot of what he says? Bits and pieces, but not everything. Would have to be crazy to do that. But yeah, for her to be able to just out of nowhere go on this podcast and drop the family bombshell of her upbringing, her
LaVey family bombshell.
We're going to be
I'm going to say the LaVey family bombshell because we're going to be very illustrative because people are tuning in and we don't want them to. What are you talking about? So since we are broadcasting to a group of people that are tuning in out of nowhere, we should be very descriptive about what we're doing, talking about. So go ahead.
Right, with the Zeena and Jordan Peterson interview. And yeah, where she's basically dropping the bomb on her family, the LaVey family, how her mom came from working class, how LaVey came from working class. And that wasn't really something that's really publicly talked about. And so to have her come out and being the voice of, yeah, this is my father. This was what we were doing, and this is how I was involved with the early days of the Church of Satan. For her, Zeena, to do that and be able to explain that with Jordan Peterson, yeah, that is a big historical moment. So what about the interview did you find the most revealing? Like, what was the one thing that out of your history with the LaVeys that caught you off guard?
Hopefully these are the notes I took. Yes, these are some notes I took. Okay. Diane LaVey's lineage. I have my notes. Boom. Fucking yeah. Diane LaVey's lineage, that, as I told you, that these notes I took to speak to you on the phone, and these are the notes that are the catalyst to talk to you about some things you said, and ultimately this live show. So Diane, and so this is like I told you, Diane's lineage, hearing about her parents, hearing about her grandparents, hearing about that she didn't know her real father. Though that's substantial to understand the psyche of someone who's going to get involved in something of the nature of the Satanism, LaVeyan Satanism. I like that they exposed it. For me, it's a confirmation bias maybe or something like that, where it's like it helped me. What the fuck are you doing with your phone? Oh, I'm supposed to go big. Okay.
There you go.
So it helped me confirm what I've been saying to people, what I've been talking to people about, which is like it's working class roots. He's a blue collar guy who was a fry cook. So it helped me confirm that the LaVeys, Diane and Anton, and Diane has officially gotten 50% credit now, like from Zeena, and that's something else because that's up in the air about what she's done. And I mean, Stanton gave her some credit. I've heard that before. People have given her credit, but anyway, this is where history gets proven. This is where the truth gets told when everyone tells their story.
Right.
Because then you're like, holy shit, that story's been told 6 times by 6 people. That must be true. Anyway, so Diane's lineage, the working class, the confirmation more to help me confirm my theory about working class artists. Her talking about wanting to go to art school and just being in the arts and wanting to do something in the arts, anything in the arts, proves again that Satanism is an art movement or a philosophical art movement. Again, that confirms what I've said all along. So I have another LaVey confirming that. Now I've got 3 of them confirming what I've come up with that no one else has. So I get that credit, bitches. Mom pulling Zeena out. Oh, that was interesting how she spoke about her mother pulling her out, pulling Zeena out, quit helping him. Quit enabling him. Quit helping him. And and her talking about LaVey living in the basement and them living upstairs.
Right.
That was those are revealing facts of what I've said when they're talking about narcissism. Now, and I'm going to say this, it's hard for people to hear. I said this in that new book that's coming out about Anton LaVey, the guy who interviewed me. And I said, the Church of Satan, I go, listen, I'm a mama's boy. Okay? The Church of Satan was founded by a mama's boy. And he needed a woman in his life to give him validation. And he needed a mommy that he didn't have. Just like me, just like almost every other man in the Church of Satan. And they have these very strong, toxic women that dominate them, can almost sculpt them. So there's a power, the power dynamic within Satan is in domination, submission is there. And it goes back and forth because these women expect their men to stand up straight. They expect the men to be men. And I know I'm speaking from a different generational standpoint. I understand that. And I understand your generation, the idea of men being men, those words are coming from a generational verbiage. You may have words like that or concepts like that are spoken differently. And so some of the stuff I'm speaking might sound sexist or whatever, but conceptually you understand it's just like a power struggle kind of thing.
Right.
And what I've seen, what I saw, and LaVey saw when he met me with my ex-partner, when we came in, and he looked her up and down. He's like, just like Coop is an artist, and he was a Church of Satan member. He's a poster artist. He's an illustrator.
Right.
Poster artist, I want to say. I don't know if he's an artist, but he's an illustrator and a poster artist. And he was like, just like Coop's, and he named her his Coop's wife or partner, and named a couple other people's partners that had been in the just like Jane, just like Marilyn, just like Blanche, and they were the blonde, big ass, the big ass, childbearing hips, all that kind of shit, like the mom, total mama, so it's like the mama's boy thing is there, and so it's like so hearing the reality of the situation of Anton, like living in a toxic relationship, living with someone who was Blanche was probably bossy to him, and was like, listen, giving him all those, like I was in that, I hate to talk about myself and my relationship and shit, but I just ended like, in my mind, something came to a close recently, and it was this long breakup and this toxic relationship I was in. And that's not to blame this other person. It's to say we were both toxic. It's like, and I think how I would describe the satanic couple is 2 narcissists going at each other, eating each other alive, and a lot of times that's how it was. And at least that's generational. I still see that in the younger generation, though. You're more healthy and you're able to communicate about your snake-like tendencies. Because I think Satanists, we are more impulsive. So, anyway, I'm yammering on. I'm glad that she's coming out and speaking. It's really needed. And for me, I'm alive, so I get to hear it and see it. And I want to see as much as I can of the end of this story, or the beginning of the beginning of the story, let's say. I want to see as much of this as I can. So I'm glad that she's finally said something. It's like when TV shows they do, internet, whatever you want to call these things. They don't have TVs. Fucking shows do to be continued, or and they don't have. It's not a series where they're like all 8 episodes are up. You can go watch the whole show and binge watch. No, they're like, come back next week. See you tomorrow. Come back to my. And when we had TV, when X-Files would do that shit, come back next week. I'd be so angry about that shit. So I don't like this to be continued shit. I want the fist fight to happen. I want all the LaVeys to get in the ring. I was really desperately trying to get Stanton back with Zeena, and I told him, and that's when he was starting to get sober. So he wanted to get back with his mom. I'll let you know that. I was like, the only way you're going to get back with your mom is to be sober and to be able to handle you hold your mud, and you can't, and you know that. And she's probably really high. She probably has maybe a high expectations. Maybe she's hard on you, but you have to at least be sober. You have to be sober for a great deal of time. And anyone that's not like you, not anyone who's not a drug addict is going to see, or fucked up mentally is going to be able to tell right away, oh, you're drug addled. So you have to get your mom's real smart, is like telling them, like, so she's going to be able to tell if you've been sober for a long time. She's going to be able to tell. Mm-hmm. She's going to be able to tell if you're trying, if you make the effort, and that's how you be able to reconcile. And so, but he was trying to. He was doing some therapy and trying. So that I really, how I judge people when, especially within like a satanic community, when they're very hard on people. People are always hard on Stanton because he did drugs or he did all these things. Life is about failing. Hate to tell you, you're going to die. That's the biggest failure, right?
Yep.
And we're all going to be humbled, but Stanton continued to try, and the effort is where I think you can apply a satanic principle. It's like the effort is where it's at. LaVey didn't hate ignorant people. He made it real clear he hated stupid people. Stupid people were the willfully ignorant. They knew what they were doing was wrong, but they kept doing it. And that's what he hated. Ignorant people can fix themselves by reading a book. And if they read the book and they fixed themselves, LaVey would love them. See, that's what I'm saying. So the effort, they tried to fix their ignorance. And Stanton continued to try to fix his ignorance. And he applied satanic principles to that. So that's where people are wrong for putting him down. There's some people who say they're Satanists and they don't understand anything about it. They wear a T-shirt. If you ask them a couple questions, it's like the joke where they talk about, like I recently hear a Gen Z girl will wear a Cannibal Corpse T-shirt, and a Gen Xer will ask her, "Tell me your top 3 songs." You've heard this?
Yeah, I've heard that joke before.
Yeah, I go up to tell me your top 3 songs, and so that's how it is with Satanism now. You can almost
wear a band T-shirt. Name 3 songs.
Yeah, you could almost go up to someone in a satanic shirt and say, "Hey, name 3 satanic principles from LaVey."
Yeah,
you could practice. You can do that today, and so I think that's where when people talk about faux Satanists, or what did you say it was, a fake Satanist? What is it?
The pseudo-Satanist.
Pseudo-Satanist. That's what a pseudo-Satanist is. To let you idiots fucking know that, or the people who just want to use name calling or gatekeep, whatever the fuck you're trying to do with that word, pseudo-Satanist. That's what it would actually be, is someone who can't answer a question. It's not a person who challenges it or disagrees with it or whatever the fuck, you want to use in an argument to discount what someone just said that you can't actually intellectually argue. Anyway, I'm yammering, I guess. I love the Zeena thing. I'm gonna make you big now. You gotta talk.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you on that. As far as, it was awesome to see her open up that light on the family dynamic of, and it kind of puts that in perspective. I know you and me were talking about this because we had the hunch with Mansfield with the overnight bag, and I'm wondering, if that was going on too in the.
Did you say you and I have that hunch?
Yeah.
There's never a you and I with that. We got to, I do that too. I try to rephrase myself though. Because I said that, and you may have also seen that. You agree with me, or you saw that at the same time as me, or there's the zeitgeist where, hey, I saw that in your book, or wherever the zine, I saw that the Carla interview, and I had the same thought as you did. But when I hear that phrase, I almost like jump, and it's a trigger. So I guess,
right.
Listen, everyone's getting into my intimate life with Jason. This is Jason. I'm talking to Jason, not Damien. Where it's like this boundary from my past, where I was in these toxic relationships, and people would say shit like that, and I'd be like, and it would lead up to toxic situations. That phrase there. So that anyway, go ahead.
Which is basically another thing that Zeena said in the interview with the narcissism. They always say this we stuff, and now you are part of the we when it's supposed to be individualistic. You, I.
Well, not me. As you know, I've always gone along and said there's no we, there's me. I've always that's why they all hate me, because I'm not about a we. I'm not about a church. I'm not about a religion. And
right.
I've made it clear when
I'm the same thing. I don't like talking about a we. It's what I do, what you do, what the individual does.
I make it clear. If I'm on here talking about a book, I'm on here talking about me and the book I did, and I'm talking to someone there. So anyone else is just a walking $20, $50 bill to me. I don't give a fuck. So the internet had in the early days, I had to keep telling people that. I'm like, listen, you're getting too comfortable with me. You think you know me. For some reason, you don't. I'm only here to take money from you. I don't know what you think this is, but that's not what you think it is. We're not friends, and you've gotten too comfortable with me. And that's what I don't like about, that's what I didn't like about the internet. But that's where I failed too. But that's a long story. With that's a failure. I've never failed. I'm alive.
Okay. But yeah, no. Trying to keep on the topic with the Jordan Peterson, Zena LaVey.
Are you saying I'm getting off topic, young man?
You said that, not me.
Was I talking about making coffee, or was I talking about Satanism? What was I just talking about?
Early days of the internet.
Oh, there you go. So you're right. I did get off. Oh, that's classic. I love that. I'm on an old man tear tonight, yelling at the thing, talking about the internet, fucking drinking coffee, not knowing what I'm saying. This is great. Great moment in history. Go ahead. You got me there. You're right. I was off topic. Apologies. My bad to the two people I don't know if I respect for listening to this.
Yeah, but back to the Jordan Peterson, Zena LaVey interview. What were your thoughts as far as the whole discussion where she was saying that Diane was living upstairs and LaVey was living in his basement?
No, go ahead.
As more of, do you think that would have been more of a way of saying that LaVey was living in his den of iniquity more than he was living the family life?
What I think that was, and a lot of those things were, was her dropping little things to try to get a book deal. Those are really interesting facts people want to know more about, just like you just did. Like, hey, let's talk more about that. So those are what a smart person would do to get a book deal or a movie deal, is to drop nuggets of things that are like, what was that? It paints a picture, and you're like, what? Basement? You know, no one that likes Anton would say basement. They'd say den of iniquity, first of all. So she's definitely slapping the shit out of him still. And so it's like, as I was trying to say earlier, and it got me on this weird circle because of trauma and PTSD, probably, and all that stuff. It's like, you can see the toxic relationship. You can see it all, like I said earlier about the narcissist, the two narcissists, stuff like that. And I know Stanton told me that his relationship with Blanche, he made a deal with Blanche. Like, to partner up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And as an old man, there's a weird thing. People on here will talk. Let me get big. People on here will talk about age gap stuff, shit like that. So I'm an older guy. I've never had kids, stuff like that. I'll date younger people, and younger women hit on me. And so there's a whole thing going on there with that. The fuck am I talking about now? Oh, Anton
the den
LaVey.
of iniquity.
Yeah, so I'm talking about Anton LaVey and Blanche. So there's a whole thing with that age gap thing. Okay, so anyway, my point is I've had practically offers like, let's get together. I'll take care of you in your old age. You know what I mean? And we can so stuff like that. There's deals that are worked like that all the time. And so it's not unreasonable what Stanton's saying, because I've had stuff like that offers that come my way that way. And it seems very typical when you're at this age. And so Anton had this younger wife, and Blanche. And so a lot, Stanton had said that was like a deal. And so it just makes me think that it was a transactional relationship, very much like my ex was. It was like when we got together, it was like, I was like, why don't you live with me? And she goes, oh, I don't want to live with you. We got to get married, so I get half of anything we do this point forward. I was like, oh, that sounds like a fair deal, even though when it all went down, she didn't want to give half. I had to have a lawyer force that out of her. So, it's transactional deals. And so it seems like something like that, like it was a transactional deal. And oh man, this is hard to say. As an older person that dates younger people, it's an emotional thing, and it's not a sexual thing, even though there's sex there. It's not an attraction. I don't think younger people are attracted to the physicality of older people. I think that's impossible. Just as animals go, I think there's a different attraction. There's an emotional attraction about holding, stuff like that, and I don't think I think younger women that have to perform are performative. Don't have to be performative to old men. They can fart in front of us and they be themselves. Anyway, that's sort of an off-subject thing, but it ties into the Blanche thing and the toxic relationship, and how I can see this unfolding in a movie in my head right now. I can see it unfolding, and the way I would do a film and the way I spoke to people about doing a film on the LaVeys or the Satanism is to talk about all the hard times, not this bullshit supremacy that everyone speaks about, but the actual trailblazing ass beatings that Satanists have taken just to play games with words, to use the word Satan, play games with this stuff, and so her giving insight into that, what you asked about the basement thing, to give us all an imagination to wonder what the fuck is that about, yo? That's fucking, to separate the whole family like that. What the fuck you did? What the fuck you do, dude? Did you punch her in the eye? Did you? And to talk to younger people in that day, in his generation, he could punch a woman in the fucking eye in public and get away with it. And that's the facts. Okay, so when you look at things historically, you have to put it into context of what was acceptable socially. And if something's socially acceptable, you do it. You do it too. You do it. And when you get older, 20-year-old, what? Am I talking too much?
No.
Well, fuck, bitch, don't start moving around and distracting me. I get confused easy. I'm old, motherfucker. What the fuck is that about?
The stupid flames in the back had an ad, so I shut that off.
Oh, well, I said something important, and I'm like, no, I forgot what I'm saying. I'm old. See, this is it. The wisdom machine turns off. I'm done.
Stupid ad. Uh,
Yeah, what was I saying,
no.
though? Well, do you remember? Do you want to
Yeah, you were talking about
talk about?
why would Zeena say about Anton living in the basement, separating the family like that, and the social acceptance of from his generation of if a woman in his generation, the idea was normalized. If someone was out of place,
Oh,
they would.
I'll go back to that. Yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is to end what I was taught to end my long answer to your question is that I love that Zeena is built. Drop. She's a professional. Her family was professional entertainers, and so she's great at what she does. There's no doubt about it. Everything she's doing is about more. She's doing it for a reason. She's doing it to doing something here, even if it's from the heart, which probably I'm sure it is a heart and mind together. I'm sure it is. She's genuine. She looks like a genuine artist. I take her as a genuine artist. My point is this. I think she did it to trigger people's imagination and want them to ask more about the story so she could try to sell it, because now's the time to sell it. Now's the time to tell it. And if you're going to tell it, you sell it. And so, yeah, I think that's great for that and it triggers and the rest of what I said was about it triggering the imagination of that kind of those typical situations in toxic relationships as to why is the one of the partners living in the, what do they call it, the mother-in-law apartment, the basement apartment.
Yeah.
Why is
the in-law suite?
The in-law suite. Why is one of the wife or the husband or the mom or the dad living in the in-law suite? What happened there? And it's usually the story of someone cheated on someone abused someone, and so. And I would imagine, like, what did you like? It's almost, and I like the part when she's like, "What did you expect from the daughter of Anton LaVey?" You don't accept a slap on the cheek. You fucking crush them when they hurt you. By my own father's teachings, I did the same to him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think there's a lot there. There's just a lot there, and I hope to hear all of the stories. I know I did my part to collect stories from the LaVeys to add to the story. So as a historian of that, the only one in the history of the world that has spoke to all of the LaVeys, and I except for Zeena. I'm going to just say that now that Jordan's got this interview. I met Zeena, who's met all of the LaVeys and spoke to most of them and interviewed most of them. And I've spoke with Diane. I spoke with all of them and met them anyway. I'm really interested to see how this story turns out. Like like a biography. Like I'd like to see a film. I'd like to see a few films made about the LaVeys, just like they did about Kerouac, or they did about the MC5, or they did about the Democratic National Convention here, the Yippies. A lot of people from that era, the beatniks and the hippie era, they have movies made about them. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. LaVey was just as influential as them. And so when I go into Hollywood and I try to pitch these ideas and stories, they know that. And that's what I'm able to say. Like, you have these biopics, this stuff going out. He was just as influential. But what she said is so fucking true.
Yeah.
You say you're a Satanist and the doors close on you. And that's been true for the most part until recently. And so I'm glad that she's doing, she knows I'm working in Hollywood right now. She knows. They know. So she's going out there to make sure. She's like, you want to talk to someone, you can come and talk to me too. And that's cool. There's enough out there for everyone. There's a lot out there. And And I win no matter what, because you do a story on you do a movie on Anton LaVey, you got to use something out of my interviews. I did the last interview with him, his grandson. So it's a win for me anyway. And it's a win for me if I just see it. It doesn't matter who does it. It matters that it gets done. The history is there, and I get to see it because I was part of it. And so that would be cool, even if I don't like it. It's basically like the Satanic Temple. It's cool for me to, when I finally started to pay attention to what was going on, I was busy sculpting in the studio. I didn't pay attention to what I had helped start. And once I finally took a look at it, it was cool to look at. But I didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. I understand that completely.
It was like
as
listening
far
to
as anything else on the interview. Did you have any?
It was like
other
listening.
critiques?
It was the Satanic. It was like when I first looked at the Satanic Temple. It was like listening to a bootleg record, like a live bootleg recording of one of your favorite bands, and you're like, "Oh God, this sounds horrible," but it's them. I have to listen to it. This is good. But it's, oh God, it's recorded. It's recorded from outside in the parking lot. My God, it's awful sounding. So that's sort of how I looked at it. You have to look at it. It's cool to see. It's cool to have the bootleg, but it's not really that cool. So what are you going to say, Jason? You said Damien, Jason.
I was saying
JD.
Yeah, there you go.
JD, what's up, JD?
Not the couch. So, do you have any other critiques or any other insight on the interview that you think people should know about?
I think people should. No, I don't. What I would say is people should not automatically say something silly like from whatever Peter Gilmore is saying or the Church of Satan saying. Try not to repeat that, because then you sound silly. Just try not to repeat what the friends in your group are saying, and watch it with an open mind and be skeptical and ask questions and think about things. That's what I would say. Too much of this stuff gets involved with people wanting to say the same thing as the person they want to like them in the group that they want to be to be a part of. And that's really fucking not what life's about. And I can tell you as an old man who's participated in stupid shit like that, myself, you look like an idiot. And you're going to realize that when you get older. So just think for yourself. Watch the thing and just really coast. Just think. You're going to experience life on a whole different level. If you're one of those satanic people that are just going to say whatever the Church of Satan says or whatever the Satanic Temple says. If you just open your mind and watch what's being said there and in a skeptical way, that's what would be the best thing for you. Anyone on the outside of this, on the outside of Satanism, I don't see how it would. To give a critique, I don't see how that interview would help anyone outside of Satanism. I think, and this is here, I'll tell you this, Jason, JD. I think they're talking directly to Satanists. There's a reason they're saying things like Satanism can destroy your life. There's no future in Satanism. There's a reason that's being said. And there's also that when I spoke about that power before, there's a reason. There's a groundswell that you can't hear online. You can't see on TV. You can't read in the newspapers or in the blogs or whatever. You can't hear on the podcast. But there's a groundswell of people that are satanic and or understand or getting into this philosophy, thinking about what is said in the satanic philosophy, let's say. There's a lot of people thinking about it. And I think it's bigger than any of us know. And I think that scares people. And it should. Because it's like it has nothing to do with the reality that's been painted for us. It has to do with the real reality. And so I would love to, I love life, so I hope to see it. I hope to get another 40 years out of life. I hope to live to fucking 95 and see how this story goes, because I love every day reading it the day before. So, the the past day, I love waking up and thinking about what happened. And so the Zeena thing was great, just great. But I just, hope people watch it with an open mind. How about you? You were the one that, you sort of triggered me out when you started talking shit. You were like, it's just another interview. And I'm being theatrical to poke at you. You weren't that goop. I should not do that because I'm trying to poke at JD. But you had said, I'm not going to even try to quote it. I'm not going to try to do this. You were blasé. That's the feeling I took from it. You were like, it's heard it. It's nice to hear confirmed. Something like that. You were blasé. I was like, what, dude? This is historic. Now, that's my memory. Go for it. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, what I was saying about that is, it's not so much of like a blasé or like, oh, I've heard this before. It's sort of the similarity is, well, if I'm watching this and if I was put in the same situation, she's doing the exact same thing I personally would have done. And I see that similarity still. It's not so much of me looking up to them as a figure, but as a human being and saying, yeah, I would do that too if I was put in those same situations. And to know that someone who lived those experiences is doing the exact same thing I was thinking kind of puts that more in a realistic standpoint instead of this fantasy that a lot of people want to put themselves in.
Yeah.
That total environment. This is real. This is reality. And that's why I was saying that was why I felt I could relate to that. Is like, yeah, I could see this as the same way as I would do this.
Nice. Well, anything else you want to add about that video you saw of Zena LaVey and Jordan Peterson? And I guess the first thing I think of too when you were sort of like what I thought was blasé, and I know you've just explained it, but that's how I felt it was. It was because it was Jordan Peterson doing it, people were going to have a problem with this. I know people have a problem with this guy for some reason, and I have no reason why, because he always sounds smart. It doesn't mean I agree with him, but
right.
I just thought. So do you dislike this guy, Jordan Peterson?
I really don't have much opinion on him to say one thing or another. To be honest, I've seen a handful of his videos. It's not something that going to change my life forever, but it was something cool, something interesting to see. And it's a reassurance of, yeah, here's reality, and here's someone who would have done the same thing I would have done.
Right, here's reality. And I think he talks about, that's how I see his stuff coming like from a satanic standpoint almost. Not totally, but when I hear him, he's speaking from reality, his reality, a reality. And the people who don't like him are usually the people who don't like Satanism. So I was like, oh. And so it was, I've seen that forever. And so it was interesting. He did this Zeena thing. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Anyway, anything else?
Not that I could think of. Any final thoughts on?
Think harder. Think harder.
Maybe if the planes stop flying over.
My place or yours?
Mine.
Oh, you live by the airport too. Nice.
Yeah. I love watching the planes, but
and
anyway.
This is the Redneck Review. We live by the airport. We're going to be having some macaroni and cheese after this and bologna sandwiches.
Some hot dogs are already on the grill.
Yeah. But every culture has their pork wrapped in dough. Every culture has their pork wrapped in dough. Don't make fun of the rednecks hot dog unless you're going to make fun of the fucking Asians dumpling or the fucking Italians ravioli or the fucking Hispanics taco. We all have our fucking bread, our shit wrapped fucking pork. That's all I'm saying. Not shit wrapped, but bread wrapped.
Those carbs.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's it, huh?
As far as questions I have on the interview and as far as critiques go, I enjoyed the video. I'm with you on this as far as I want to see what the next step is. I want to see the next chapter of this.
And you can bet I'll never let anyone on live that I don't know again, ever. I don't think I'll ever have to relearn that lesson, but if I do, if I live another 40 years and this happens again, I'll be like, I remember the last time this happened. And I was with JD. They'll be like, who's JD? Jason Damien. They'll be like, really? And I'm like, yes, his parents really named him Jason Damien, JD. And they'll be like, oh my God. All right, JD, talk to you later, bro.